Now is the time to use magic, work the mundane, and build yourself and your world into everything you always wanted, physically and spiritually. Helping your fellow man all the way without giving too much of yourself. For despite what the organized religion, external savior program freaks would like you to believe, no one should be a sacrifice. This is the great work. The work all who call themselves magus are practicing, and all those who are yet to be magus, but still a magician, are aspiring towards. We are hardwired to utilize the God force. Ritual magic is the clearing of the obstructions of the lower self, the ego distractions, to open a clear conduit to divine guidance. Ritual magic is the ordering of the elements that they conspire to bring forth the still small voice of divine guidance. Magic is our natural born right. It is the ability of spirit to cause change throughout the elements. And we are all, before anything else, we are all spirit. That is our point of origin. And as nothing is totally separate, spirit flows throughout all of our reality. All is mind, all is the God force. We should allow all to follow their own path, as we must all learn our own way in life, but defend ourselves against intolerance, so that magic never becomes highly persecuted. May science never ground us into our senses. May science never totally trap us into harmonic universe number 1 of dimension 3, but also may religion never delude us into slaves of our emotions. The way of spirit is the way of the magus, the way of the magi, and the way of spirit is the way of balance, always. Now, the chemicals produced from our glands cause us to tap into the life essence, the God force, that always permeates all, everything. Here we receive information from our intuition that reveals things not normally known. And this is called gnosis. And gnosis is the Greek word for knowledge. All information, though, must still be tested against the discernment of your higher self, your connection to source, the voice of source that operates and manifests through your clear conduit once you have ordered all the elements. And sometimes our own prejudices cloud our intuition. If we give more focus to fear rather than our love, then we will have our voice filtered through fear, which is a distortion. And we become deluded in our thinking by overly focusing on fearful thoughts, the ego thoughts, allowing the ego to dominate our God mind, allowing the ego mind to dominate the God mind, which is the right hemisphere that we access when we turn to the right in meditation. This deluded thinking is actually coming from the ego, as it is mistaken as intuition. It is this false logic that convinces people that God told them to go on a mass murder. And when our prejudices are not in the way, then we have access to the intuition, which is the doorway to the essence of life, which is the eternal doorway to the cosmos, to the God mind, to the mind of source. In order to be initiated into the practice of magic, one must determine the will and the objective which one is pursuing. To wish and to know how to wish is a great secret. He who wishes and does not know how to wish is not a magus, and never will become one. To wish, though, is not to desire, as the lower man desires. Desire kills the will. To desire without will is sufficient to destroy all work of magic. Now, the angel of the will is Ariel, the force or will, for the most powerful force is the will of the man who knows what he wants. Without repeating myself, I say to my disciple, if you wish to attract the force to you, the God force to you, if you wish to swim in the God force, invoke and evoke Ariel, and the angel will bring it to you. To invoke is to call within oneself. To evoke is to call to oneself. Everything called arrives. Orpheus moves mountains by playing his lyre. One must become a little Orpheus in order to attract to oneself the invisible atoms of the generative God force, which is the universal life. Now, the allegory in Star Wars shows an example of how body chemistry is connected to the force. In the Star Wars myth, the more midi-chlorians one has in their blood, the more one has access to the force, to the God force. Without midi-chlorians, there is no life. Without the midi-chlorians, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the force, of the God force. Now, they continually speak to us, telling us the will of the God force. When you learn to quiet your mind, you'll hear them speaking to you. Midi-chlorians are microscopic, intelligent life forms that live within the cells of all living beings. And the amount of midi-chlorians is used to determine a being's potential in the God force. The midi-chlorians played a role in eternal consciousness as all living beings generated the living God force. It fed into the cosmic God force and communicated through the midi-chlorians. This mythology is an allegory of the neurochemicals that are produced during meditation that allows awareness of the God force, which is life itself. And the myths in the Bible are based on astrology. Yes, the Bible is a book of astrotheology. And there is much about astrology that we don't know yet, that we don't fully understand the way that it's been taught to us. And there are still things not understood yet, and many consider it hooey based on superstition. Many thought the same with alchemy, which is now chemistry. Before alchemy was called chemistry, we were unaware of the existence of the periodic table of elements. We only understood the essence of things that the West divided into four, such as earth, water, air, and fire. The elements of ritual magic, the elements of the personality that we must order. Now that we have discovered 118 sub rosa groups, say that since there are 144 octaves in the universal keyboard of energy, then there is 144 atoms, some of which have not yet been discovered or classified. Either way, the atoms that we have discovered fall into one of the four essences in alchemy. Elements that are metals fall into the earth. Element gases fall into the air. Essence liquid atoms fall into the water. Essence and radioactive elements fall into the essence of fire. This covers the whole periodic table of elements. And in astrology, the four essences called four elements are also used to describe the zodiac that is divided into 12. We are a microscopic universe. Now, the image behind me shows the brain comparison to the universe. The tendrils, the dendrites are all very similar. This shows the microcosm, which is us, compared to the macrocosm, which is the universe. The four tribes, such as the tribe of Dan in the north, the tribe of Judah in the east, the tribe of Reuben in the south, and tribe of Ephraim in the west, symbolizing the four aspects of us, such as the emotions, the intuition, spirit, body, and intellect. Each aspect has 3 gates or tribes, which is 12 tribes altogether. This is the 12 cranial nerves of the brain. Within our brain, we produce 4 major neurochemicals that we have a lot to do with, that has a lot to do with our personality. Those 4 are the dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA, and serotonin. And these chemicals control how you feel, think, and how you behave. Every brain naturally functions on some level of imbalance of these biochemicals. This is what makes each of us unique. Your dominant biochemical produces the greatest quantity, which governs the other 3. We are all born dominant in one of the 4. And it is possible that the time of season we are born determines this factor. If this is so, that would explain how the stars impact us, how the heavenlies impact the microcosm, how the as above, so below, how it all works together. Because in astrology, the 12 zodiac signs are categorized within the 4 elements, earth, water, air, and fire. Each of the 4 is divided into 3 zodiac signs, like the gates and tribes associated with the 4 aspects of our brain. Your dominant nature may be the key to self-discovery. It's also important to know what brain chemicals we are lacking or not producing in enough quantities. Antidepressants and other psychoactive drugs help only to a degree. They are like temporary band-aids as they adjust brain chemistry. It is up to the individual to get to the core of the issue. If one does not, the conflicting biochemical produced from the brain will eventually override the medicines where one needs to keep switching medicines. To get to the core requires a whole adjustment of thinking, as well as other things such as diet and exercise. Our thoughts cause the synapses in the brain to shoot a chemical across the cleft to another synapse, therefore building a bridge over which an electrical signal can cross, carrying along its charge. The related information you are thinking about, if this produces biochemicals that are in opposition to psychoactive drugs, the drugs will lose its power as the bond of synapses related to those pessimistic thoughts becomes stronger. While medication is a band-aid, the power of meditation is the cure. As it rewires the brain, designing desirable brain states allows you to get more done. Change the world through positive thinking. By gaming yourself into happiness, there's a ripple effect, like increased productivity and increased loyalty. Cosmic consciousness includes a total of 144 levels, 12 times 12 levels, each corresponding to an exact degree of evolution. In the universal keyboard of life, there are 144 octaves from the range of cosmic rays to physical matter. The theosophical reduction of 144 is 9. As I said many times, 9 is the number that symbolizes consciousness. Consciousness is life essence and the inner glue of all that exists. Cosmic consciousness is the awareness of the life essence. As you become more aware of the life essence, you view the world through new eyes. One has a new, beautiful acceptance of reality and humanity. The beauty of humanity becomes much more visible. Every glance, every breath from another human being is filled with wonder and beauty. The importance of friendship and family become more heartfelt than ever before. The importance of doing one's best and leaving a better world behind for others who will continue on becomes a crucial value. Those who will ascend to the new earth golden age. Life, the universe, the earth becomes more beautiful than one could ever imagine. The universe is a mystery of great beauty and wonder and an infinite reality to be explored. This is what happens when one stops escaping reality and worships life.